Welcome back, folks. I'm Jake ELLENBOGEN. Today we're going to be talking about the Rams' newest addition to their roster, Neville Gallimore. We're going to be talking about what he brings to the table, who he is, and why they would go out and make this move. Before we get into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan. Be sure to check out any of my videos in audio format wherever you get your podcasts, Jake ELLENBOGEN Live, and let's get into it. So, guys, Neville Gallimore, okay? He's a player who was drafted in the third round in 2020 out of Oklahoma. Somebody I liked in that draft, I think a lot of Rams fans liked him from what I remember, was picked by the Dallas Cowboys, okay? He played out his rookie year in Dallas, signed a deal with the Dolphins, had a decent size signing bonus, and ended up getting surprisingly cut yesterday. So the Rams actually just put him on a plane, sent him over here, and he is now going to sign with the Rams. He's going to be a part of this 53-man roster. Why did he not have to clear waivers, you may ask? Because he's had enough years accrued in the NFL where he doesn't actually have to be subject to go through waivers. For those of you asking about Neville Gallimore and what he brings to the table, he's not a super tall defensive lineman, only standing at 6'2". He's 302 pounds. He moves pretty well. He's a good athlete, 27 years old, and he's going to add some veteran presence in the trenches here. You have a younger room. Let's talk about that for a second. Bobby Brown III is still very young. Kobe Turner is going into his second season. He's older than Bobby Brown, by the way, but he's going into his second season. Braden Fisk has not ever even seen an NFL snap, whether it be preseason or regular season. And then you have Desjuan Johnson, last year's Mr. Irrelevant, going into year two. And you have Tyler Davis, who has not had really any experience. And then Corey Durden, who's had very limited NFL experience. So Neville Gallimore automatically becomes the most experienced and oldest in the trenches here. Was surprised that they didn't keep Carlos Watkins for this reason. I thought he offered a little bit more as far as, being a veteran presence, obviously in his 30s. But Gallimore has shown in the past he's got a little flash here and there. The problem with Gallimore is this. He's had 4 years in the NFL. Like I said, he was drafted in 2020. He's played over 1,200 snaps in the league, and he hasn't really done what was expected of him as a third-round pick. He only has 36 pressures in his career, to be fair, and he only has 5 sacks over the course of 4 years. So, what is Gallimore to the Rams? Well, let's be honest here. He's a rotational piece that offers some veteran leadership and presence. He played on a really good defense in Dallas, coached by Dan Quinn, and so this isn't necessarily a shock that the Rams want to go a little bit older in the trenches. What's a shock is, and we still, keep in mind, we still haven't seen the corresponding roster move. They actually have to make 2 because in a previous video I mentioned Corey Schrader was claimed by the Rams. So right now they have 57 on their roster, technically speaking, but 2 of those guys are going to be cut, or not cut, but 2 of those guys are on the suspended list, or going to be on suspended list. So they're fine to stay on the roster. You don't have to do anything yet. They will be added as the season progresses with Alec Jackson and, of course, Jimmy Garoppolo. So that leaves you with 55. And the question is, who goes in this case? Are they going to keep 7 defensive linemen and keep Corey Durden? Or are they going to replace Neville Gallimore, who basically going in, this is what happens with the initial 53-man roster. Going into it yesterday, the Rams picked out the best 53 that they felt on this team. And then other teams did the same. And what happens is teams will have their own big boards, essentially, and try to predict who's going to get cut and try to decide and make essentially make a plan of attack based on who they think is going to be let go. And this is really the last way until the trade deadline to really make your football team a little bit better, is this, waiver period, this cut down day, because somebody like Gallimore doesn't have to go through waivers. So you sign him to a contract. Somebody like Schrader has to go through waivers. So the Rams, they probably did their due diligence. They probably didn't expect this guy to get cut. Maybe they did, and they were hoping that Miami would cut him, and Miami cut him, and then they felt like he was a better option than some of the guys that they kept yesterday. And that's the reaction, okay? That's what happens when we call it an initial 53-man roster. It is not finalized, and a lot of things can happen between now and 2 weeks from now. So I understand this move. I'm not saying I'm thrilled. I'm not like saying that this guy's amazing. For what it's worth, Gallimore had his best season of his career last year, which is a good sign that he's going in a better direction here. He's disciplined. He doesn't really rack up penalties, which is a good thing. Only has 3 in his career, one of which was called back anyway. But I think last year you saw it. 12 pressures, a career high out of his 36 total. He had 8, 7, and 9 before. Obviously, there was a lot of depth there in Dallas, so I get that. And there's a lot of depth here with the Rams. So he doesn't have to be a starter. He doesn't have to go crazy or anything like that. He's in a rotation. He's going to be a veteran presence, and that's what he's going to be. Is he ever going to amount to being that guy that was drafted in the 3rd round in 2020? Possibly not. But if this is his role and he's totally fine with it, I mean, the Rams saw him last year and they got a glimpse of him in week 8, albeit he only played 9 snaps. Ironically, I think it was the fewest he played all year last year. So, yeah, they decided Gallimore makes sense. They weren't expecting him to be available. Now he is. Same thing with Schrader, and that's the way it is. Now, I still don't think the roster's done. I still think that they could make a move or two. But as it stands right now, Neville Gallimore is signing a deal with the Rams to be on the 53-man roster. And now we wait for the corresponding move. I think it's going to be Durden, and I think they're going to put him back on the practice squad, but that's just me. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan. That includes TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. But that's going to do it. So I appreciate you guys. You guys take care. I'll see you guys soon. Later, folks. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.